Hello, everybody. I think we're live. I'm just going to double check, but let's make sure here. Yes, we are. Welcome. So happy to be on today with Alex Wilson. And how's my screen looking? How's it looking, Alex?
Looks good.
Looks good. Okay. We're hoping that Facebook Live will perform well for us today. So I want to welcome Alex Wilson today, and it's been such a pleasure to work with Alex. And this is something that's very interesting. Usually I do these interviews with folks after they've gone through the Prosperous Yoga Teacher Training, and I thought it would be cool to do an interview with someone while they're in the program. And so that's why I wanted to talk to Alex today. So welcome, Alex. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good, thanks.
Good. Awesome. So, Alex, I'd love to hear a little bit about your journey. So for those of you that don't know, Alex helps people with anxiety. And before coming into the program, she was definitely not as focused and was focusing, was kind of more widespread, like a lot of you might be, just teaching yoga and wanting to kind of take her business to the next level. So Alex, maybe you can give us a little bit of insight into where you were at, where was your business at before you joined the program?
Sure, yeah. So before I joined the program, my business was more of like a pipe dream, I would say. It just didn't do anything for me. I was teaching yoga classes, yeah. And then I was trying to start my business in the way that I feel like probably a lot of people do, which is just like creating content and sharing that content online and just kind of like casting out that content, hoping that it would bring people to my website and then get them to spontaneously schedule private yoga sessions with me. And wasn't really doing anything for the most part. So.
Yeah. And how about now? How would you describe your business, and the focus that you have? Like, if I were to ask you, what do you do? Which is, a really essential component of developing your business and developing your marketing is when, this is something we talk about. We go into depth in this in the beginning of the program, which is somebody asks you, what do you do? How do you answer that in a way that gives them a good idea of who you work with, what problem you can solve, and then the benefit that people get from working with you, as opposed to just saying I'm a yoga teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been working on this. What I do is I work with clients one-on-one to help them manage and overcome anxiety so that they can step more fully into their power and start living life more on their own terms.
Oh, I love it. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
So give us a little insight. That's really powerful. And I hear from so many people a resistance. And I've been there myself. I went through this years ago, a resistance to getting focused and niche and, choosing a niche and, choosing an ideal client, really getting clear on a problem that you can solve and then a benefit that they get from that. Maybe you can give us a little insight. I like to think of this as like pulling back the curtain so we can see what's going on in the background. Maybe you can give us a little insight into your process of kind of discovering this.
Sure. So I did my yoga teacher training a little while ago. And then after the teacher training, I did Ayurveda specialist training because when I did teacher training, I was so fascinated by Ayurveda. And then the program became available at my studio. And so after I did all that, all I knew was, okay, I want to use these tools of yoga and Ayurveda to help people get healthier, to help people, step into their fullest potential for health and living, essentially. And I have always kind of struggled with anxiety, like my whole life. And my own yoga and Ayurveda practices helped me overcome and start to manage that anxiety and to learn how. Yoga and Ayurveda training to help people overcome anxiety. But that was kind of like just the picture, like the big picture. I didn't really know how to go about making that happen, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, with the program, I've been able to help, like, just create structure and have now know how to offer that to people in a way that makes sense, in a way that's actually going to be beneficial for them and for me.
Cool. So I love hearing that. That's one of the key components is your story. But I will say that's also a place where people can get stuck. If you only go into your story, that's a place that you could get stuck because you're not necessarily speaking to others, and where other people are feeling some kind of problem in their life. And then also that you're not necessarily sure that that's something that is valuable in the marketplace, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's something that people will pay money for. And so what I talk about always is kind of that magic. It's almost like that sweet spot is like where you can bring those three things together, which is, the problem that somebody's going through in their daily life, which is really like a pain point. It's something that they wake up thinking about, something that they go to sleep thinking about, something that throughout the day, it affects so much of their day because it's that important to them. It has that component, but then you match it with your story and you have, some experience with it and, different ways that you've worked with it or ways that you've helped others to work with it. And then, if that's a valuable thing in the marketplace, and what I mean by that is that it's going to really help them to, have a much better quality of life, whether that's with their, relationships, with their career, with their health, whatever it might be. That's when you really have a killer offer. That's where you can really talk to people and connect with them where they are instead of just where you are. Right? Yeah,
definitely.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So I'd love to hear a little bit about your mindset, because for me, watching you grow and change throughout the program has been really inspiring. And it's just like, that's like why I do this. I just feel so excited when I see people feeling more empowered and taking control of their business and their life. So maybe give us a little insight into what was your mindset like before starting, and what's your mindset like? How's the journey been, and what's it like now?
Sure. Yeah. So, before I started with the program, my mindset was kind of like, first of all, I have to do everything. If I'm going to make this happen, I have to do everything. And it was a lot of pressure on myself. But then at the same time, I didn't want to leave the comfort zone of behind my computer. I wanted to be able to just sit behind the computer, create content, put the content out there, and then have clients come to me. I didn't want to have to do the work of going out there and finding my clients and drawing them in. I guess I wanted them to just see my stuff and then come to me, and that was how it was going to be. And that was a really limiting mindset. I'm aware now. I realize how hiding behind my computer screen kind of limited my ability to actually do this work that I'm trying to do. And then as I was going through the program, David, you taught me a bunch of ways to sort of dissect my mindset and start to shift it. And one of the first things that had to shift for me, even just in enrolling in the program, was accepting some support, like recognizing that I needed some support, and then getting that support. And then as I continued to go through, I was able to do some practices that helped me shift and help me sort of overcome this idea that I needed to hide behind my computer screen and that I can actually start to step out. But that was still difficult for me. And one of the things I remember you talking about was like the 4 C's or something like that. Mm-hmm. And in particular, that it takes courage to be able to develop confidence, right? You have to do something, you have to find ways to be courageous in order to have the confidence to do what you're doing. And I wasn't really figuring out how to do that, how to be courageous, because anxiety sort of started creeping in the more and more I was trying to grow. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that what I needed was just a little bit more support. And so I got some support from another friend who has a business, and she helped me do the work of putting my stuff out there, which was where I really was having a hard time. Yeah. And once I got that support, then that's when really, then I started to find the confidence, because for me, the courageous act wasn't doing it by myself, putting myself out there by myself. It was getting someone to help me do it, someone to hold my hand while I was putting myself out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to give credit where credit's due on the 4 C's. That comes from a badass business coach named Dan Sullivan. He's one of the top business coaches in the world, works with really high level entrepreneurs. So I wanted to give credit there to Dan Sullivan. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about your putting yourself out there. So this is great. So asking for help. And I also noticed this where I would feel like you were hiding out a little bit, and I would reach out to you and, okay, so we need to, let's book a session. Let's, get a one-on-one coaching session on the books, and let's really go deep, and let's get to what's going on here. Because, without doing that, without actually looking at the core issue, which is almost always a mindset thing. So we're going to talk about strategy too in a little bit, but without getting to the core of the matter, kind of like, the mindset is like our engine or our fuel. It's what's driving us. If you don't understand that, then you're not going to go anywhere. And so one thing, I did notice after talking to you right from the get-go is like, okay, great writer, you can put out all this content and things like that. But I want to hear your voice. I want to see your face. I want to see you, speaking to people and those kinds of things. So one really essential component of the program is to deliver an in-person workshop. And so
it's so funny because I remember even like when you first started talking about that, I was like trying to figure out how can I skip the in-person one and just do it like on the internet or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to speak to that. So that's a really common place, that a lot of yoga teachers are hiding out behind their computer, right? They're hiding out behind social media posts. They're hiding out maybe in blogs or, in groups, online, like Facebook groups, whatever it might be, and posting a lot of different things, but not actually doing the things that are required to grow the business. And, this is kind of like Einstein's definition of insanity, where you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, right? And so you have to do something different if you expect different results. And, getting out in front of people by delivering a workshop is certainly very different for you. So how about you can give us an update? So here's what's cool is you haven't even delivered your first workshop yet, but when is that happening? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So my first workshop is tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm really excited. I'm excited about giving it, which is so huge because like I said, I didn't even want to do it. I was like, how can I avoid having to do this in-person workshop thing and like still get through the program? But I in doing the mindset work and the reflections and like kind of digging into what the issue was, I realized that my fear was not about getting up there and doing the presentation as much as it was that no one would show up. That I would go and there would be nobody there, and that I put in all this this vulnerability that I put myself out there and that no one was going to show up. And so I was avoiding scheduling it and doing it and that's kind of why. And then also, again, I've always been the kind of person where I prefer to not be seen. Like I can like interject here and there, but from a place where nobody can see me. So, So, I got the support that I needed to help me put myself out there because I wasn't going to do it on my own. I recognized that. I wasn't going to schedule the workshop. I wasn't going to put the ad out on, Facebook or whatever. And I needed someone to help me with that. And that's what I did. I forget what you asked me originally. So I'm kind of just talking now.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah. It's all good. I just want an insight into your experience, and that's what you're giving us. And it's great.
Yeah. Oh, I remember now. So this person helped me, a friend, I hired her. She's helping me. She helped me make my Facebook ad. I mean, I made the content, I did all of that, and she just made the ad and put it out there. Yeah. And like, here I am. My workshop is tomorrow, and almost all of my tickets have been claimed. I made 50 tickets available, and almost all of them have been claimed. So that's really, really exciting.
Yeah. So you have almost 50 people registered.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the resourcefulness. So this is a really good point. So in the program, I actually guide people exactly how to set up your event, exactly how to put up the advertising on Facebook. And it's not rocket science, but what I love that you've done is you just, you had this blockage, you had this internal block. You're like, I'm not going to do it. Okay. Like, I know I'm not going to do it. And therefore, okay, so you have two choices then, either don't do it or figure out a way to do it. Right. And you recruited somebody that you know for help. You
Mm-hmm.
asked a friend. It's like that old, I forget what that show was, but it had Regis. It was like the million whatever. And it was like, you could, like call a friend was like one option to answer any question. So
Yeah,
you called a friend.
I
And
did.
I love it. It's so cool. And that's like a really fundamental piece of being successful as an entrepreneur. Because I talk about this all the time is there's a million ways to be successful, And all that matters is that you are resourceful enough to figure out what way works for you. And there is no cookie cutter business that's going to work where you can just copy somebody else's business and make it work for you. If that's the case, even if it works for a little bit, it's going to eventually tank because it's not authentic. You're not in integrity with who you are and the way that you do things. So, I hope you will take that learning and never forget it. And I want to also reflect and celebrate the fact that you're super excited for this workshop now.
Mhm.
You've been practicing, and you're gonna knock it out of the park. It's gonna be amazing. And I want to give people a little bit of insight. This workshop is a lot different than what you might be used to delivering as a yoga teacher, which is why it's another piece. It's not just teaching yoga. Actually, it's really designed for transformation. It's designed to help shift people's mindset in the audience around the problem that they're having. And then, really like helping them to shift into making a decision in their life as to whether they really want to change and solve that problem, And I give you the full structure for how to run that workshop and then how to invite people to take the next steps with you. So I really look forward to hearing how that goes. And, everybody who's watching this will kind of be on a cliffhanger, but we can do a follow-up in the future. So let me see here. There was something else I wanted to ask about actually delivering the workshop. And I thought this was really cool because we talked about this. We had a coaching, actually maybe a couple coaching sessions about this around feeling, confident to be able to get in front of people.
Mhm.
Right. And how is it now that you feel excited when before you felt scared?
I think that a big part of it was I hadn't been able to even put myself out there like on Facebook with people I knew, where people that I knew could potentially see it. I had created this like whole other dimension of social media where I could share stuff with people who didn't know me, And so this idea of like putting myself out there where people know me, could see it, that was so scary to me. And getting past that with support was one thing. But then it's also a lot of my fear was around being like the center of attention, I guess, or being the person that's up front and everybody's and all eyes are on me. And I was making it about me, right? I was making it a lot about me. Yeah. And as I've been, I guess, as people started registering for my event, and I saw how many people registered, it just clicked like, this isn't about me. There are so many people out there who are interested in this and who need this, that all of my tickets are getting claimed. And now it's about me having the responsibility and being empowered to step into that role of giving these people what they need. And that to me is just so, so cool.
I love it. I love it. Okay, cool. So a few teachable moments here. I want to reflect this back to folks. So something I always talk about is solve a problem, a real life problem for people. That's the most valuable thing you can do, is help people to solve a problem. And you have almost 50 registrations for this workshop. And what's super, super cool, the huge takeaway here is you have, possibly by the time you deliver it tomorrow, you might have 50 people that register. That's a group of folks that are super, super targeted to exactly the offer that you offer, right? So they're signing up for a workshop that is directly focused to solving their problem, right? It's around helping people with anxiety, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, this is so much different than if you were to just give a workshop on yoga, right? So if you're just giving a workshop on yoga, you're going to have all kinds of people that are coming in for yoga, people that are coming in maybe with some back pain, people who are coming in with stress, people who are coming in with all kinds of different things about why they would show up for yoga, right? But you have this super targeted workshop and you already have all of these people registered who are folks that, regardless of if they show up or not, they have already reached out and raised their hand. Your marketing has done its job where people have raised their hand and said, I'm interested, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really powerful. And what's even cooler to stack on that is you now have a business model that you can rinse and repeat. You can do this over and over and over again. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You actually don't have to create any new content to do this again, right?
Right.
So here's what's really cool. Like, I'm just giving you a little insight into what's going to happen in the future. And also I want to give the, people that are watching and listening a little bit of insight into how simple your business can be and how it should be very much simplified. Because a lot of people are trying to help everybody. And when you try to help everybody, what often happens is you help no one, right? Mm-hmm. So here's the deal. You're going to deliver this workshop, and then literally you can hit, copy and paste, get out there and either choose a different location or do it at the same location and just, start promoting the next one. And you can deliver it in the same, same content, same title, everything. Different people will show up that have that same problem, or even some of the same people might show up, and you can, it's going to be different. You're going to always deliver it, a little bit different. And here's what's going to happen is, because you have this targeted, this is what we call the front end or the top of the funnel. Because you have this targeted audience in the top of the funnel, as they come down into, coming down the funnel means basically they're getting closer and closer to you, right? So here's what's happened is they've seen an ad for you on Facebook. They're like, they click that, yes, I want to go. They register. They're coming down the funnel. They show up to your workshop. You're delivering them some amazing value. You're helping them to shift their mindset around this problem, hopefully helping them see that, okay, yeah, I can actually solve this, and I would like to solve this. I would like to do something. And then they're going to come closer, talking to you individually. And then some of those folks will enroll to actually go through your program if it's a good fit, nothing, not based on any kind of persuasion tactics or anything like that, but just meeting them, heart to heart where they are. And then these people are going to go through your program. They're going to know other people who have their problem. They're going to refer other people. But what's cool is you don't actually have to search anymore for that kind of magic bullet solution. And this is what I find. There's people out there, and I'm sure if you're listening or watching this, you might fit into this category where you're just chasing, shiny objects. And it's not your fault, because we see it all the time on the internet, right? It's like, try this latest thing, right? You should be doing this. You should be, blogging. You should be putting out videos. You should be podcasting. You should be, networking. You should be doing all of these different things. Webinars. You should be doing, it's just endless, right? Chatbots. It's just like the list goes on and on, to the point where usually it leads to overwhelm and you don't do anything, right? Or you try a bunch of different things. And when you try a bunch of different things, it's hard to get momentum, And so how does that feel to have, now you have a business model that is repeatable, that is consistent. You'll also get to a point where you can just track your numbers, and you'll know for every workshop I deliver, this many people will show up, and this many people, will talk to me individually, and this many folks will enroll as a client. How does that feel to have that kind of consistency and like in your business?
It feels like, as someone who was just trying to make it work before, like just trying to figure out a way to have my own business that was successful, and then now I've got this thing that's all structured and works. It just feels like exactly what I needed. I don't know, like how it's like, it's just like, it feels like security, and it feels like control, I don't know. Those are like important things to me as someone with anxiety, but like to have that sort of control over my business, as opposed to just hoping that someone will click and someone will come to my website and someone will maybe schedule a session with me. Like there's a sense of control now,
Yeah, I love that.
I can bring the clients.
Yeah, yeah. And knowing that and having a sense of security is so important for our mental health. Something that we don't talk about. It's not talked about a lot in the business world, the entrepreneurial world, mental health, and if you don't know that you have business coming in, that's really stressful. And it's, a business that doesn't have clients is not really a business. It's really just more of a hobby, right?
Yep.
So now you have this. Now you have this ability, and I want to celebrate you for doing the work. And you've put in the work, and there's no accidents here. It doesn't just happen. Nobody handed this to you. I didn't hand this to you. I gave you a framework. I've been supporting you and helping you, and whenever you have a problem, coaching you through that. But more than anything, for me, all that I really care about is that you really see what you're capable of and you own that, right? And I think, everybody can see that that's what's happening right now. So I applaud you.
Thank you.
And give yourself a pat on the back, and, keep doing all of that. Keep doing all of that, all that mindset work that I always talk about to keep that going. Is there one mindset hack or trick that you want to share with people that's really helpful, that's kind of helped you boost into this new level of confidence?
One thing that I have done very consistently is, you told me we came up with some positive reinforcement phrases for me that were supposed to help counter my false beliefs. And then I paired them with parts of my self-care routine. So, doing like my skincare routine and I think my tongue scraping routine, one in the morning and one kind of in the evening. And I would repeat those two phrases that we came up with to myself in the morning and the evening while I did that. And it's just like, it's crazy how like instantaneously when I go to scrape my tongue, I start saying it. I don't even think about it anymore. It just happens. And so I really feel like that's the one that I've been super consistent with. So I feel like it's made a difference.
Great.
In how I feel.
I love it. So you're talking about the power of a routine, and you're talking about the power of developing a new habit. And developing a new habit, something that you need to do to develop a new habit, is to develop what's called automaticity, where you just do it without thinking. And it doesn't happen at first. That's why it's hard to develop a new habit. It's like, okay, we got to like wind up the engine and kind of get going and try. But when you compare it with a daily activity that you're already doing, then you're leveraging that. So cool. Love it. Thanks for sharing that. And, I feel like we've covered a lot. I think you've given us a wonderful window into your success and your experience, and can't wait to hear how the workshop goes. Super excited for you. Thanks. And I just want to say, Alex, I want to say thank you so much for showing up for you, showing up for yourself, and also showing up as an ideal client. Really, the three keys that I'm always looking for are somebody who's committed, somebody who's decisive, and somebody who's coachable. And if you're those things, I guarantee that you're going to get growth and success in your business. I always say that, like, I know that I can help somebody if they are those three things, and you have shown up that way, and I really appreciate that. So I want to thank you for that. And I'd love to, hear, is there anything else that you want to share with people, or anything else that you want to say?
No, just, that I am so happy that I decided to do this. And I will say I had looked at similar programs in the past, like working with business mindset coaches, and I wasn't ready, or I didn't find maybe the right program for me. Nothing that made me feel like, oh, I need to do this. And then when I came across yours, that's how I felt. I was like, oh, this is what I need to move forward. And I'm so happy that I did that and that I came across your stuff, because I used to think that I could do it on my own, but the support is really what's, I think, helping me get to this place. I wouldn't have gotten to this place without the support and without that structure and guidance, and just thank you.
For sure. My pleasure. Yeah. It's been so wonderful, and really looking forward to the future. What does the future hold for you?
A workshop and hopefully some new clients.
I love it. I love it. Ultra focused. Ultra focused on tomorrow. Yeah, good. I love it. That's so cool. Okay, good stuff. So you've heard Alex's story. You see, what's going on behind the scenes, what we're doing in the Prosperous Yoga Teacher Training. And if you want to talk to me about what that might look like for you, I would love to talk to you. And I'm going to see if I can put a link up here and get high tech. I think I should be able to. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. If you want to talk, just hop over to the prosperousyogateacher.com/apply. I'll put a link down in the comments too at some point. But just go over there, the prosperousyogateacher.com/apply. And here's what's going to happen. You just find a spot on my calendar that works for you. You answer a few questions just to show me that you're serious, that you actually want to grow your business and you actually want help. And what's going to happen is we will have a conversation. We're going to talk about where you're stuck. We're going to talk about where you want to go. We're going to talk about a game plan to get you from point A to point B. And, it's not a sales pitch. It's not like any kind of pressure, nothing like that, because these conversations are just as important for me as they are for you, in the fact that I only choose to work with people that are a good fit and that I feel like really resonate with and that I can really help. And if I don't feel that, I wouldn't even offer anything to you. So a lot of folks say that this conversation just in itself is a game changer. It brings so much awareness to their business and what's been stopping them up to this point. So I hope that you'll take advantage of it. I love talking to people, and I do it because I love helping. And I also do it because I know if we're a good fit to work together, you might want to hear about the program. So that's what I have. And Alex, can you share your business website with us? And we're going to put it in the comments below as well.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that, but
that's all right. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it on my end.
Okay. Yeah, but my website is www.alexcwilson.com. Super easy, just my name. And yeah, if you want to check it out and kind of see what I'm doing, that'd be cool.
Awesome. I'm gonna drop that in the comments below right after I hop off here. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Alex, for coming on. Namaste. And we're sending you good vibes for your workshop tomorrow. You're gonna crush it, I have no doubts. And you're serving people. So congrats and thank you for getting out there and helping people and helping the world, because you can't do that from behind your computer screen.
Definitely not.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much. I'm going to go ahead and sign off, and
all right.
We'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, David.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.